tonight, but the whole purpose is, and the first part of this handout says, wouldn't it be nice to be able to host your own website at home for development purposes? How about being able to create, edit, manage your PHP site or any other website you want from any web browser? And so by following the below steps, you'll be able to do that. The first is the program called XAMPP. It needs to be on your Mac. You can download, just Google that word XAMPP and find it. And by the way, XAMPP is available for Mac or PC, either one, but I'm going to show you how to do it with a Mac environment. You also need to have a static internet connection through like Comcast or DSL, one of the two. I'm testing this one with Comcast and showing you how I did it with Comcast. And that's probably the most popular. Third, or second is, you set up your computer, and this is what the extra podcast shows you how to do. I'm not showing you how to do that tonight. Set up your computer that you're going to use as a web server. You need to point it to DMZ on your router. It needs to be pointed to that Mac that you're going to be using as a web server. And so, again, that's an extra podcast outside of tonight that'll be posted. By the way, if you look on the overhead, there is on our rockfordcocoaheads.com a podcast link. And after tonight's session, when I get home tonight, I'll put this podcast for this and the extra podcast for the setting up of DMZ on your router and other things on there as well. So that'll be found in here. And each month session, what you guys do in here will be on this page recorded for you to see. So if you miss a session or whatever, you can come back and see it. So first is, let me go ahead and pull up I think I got I got it up here. So you'll notice on number 3 here, it says sign up for a free DNS service. A free DNS service is just that. It's a domain name service is what DNS stands for. And DNS, you need, if you don't have a website, you need a DNS service of some type. So you've heard of GoDaddy probably. That's the most popular people have heard of, and other ones. But basically, you sign up for a web service through like GoDaddy, and you pay a yearly fee basically for that domain and web space, right? Well, this step is going to show you how to get a free domain, number 1. Number 2, to use your home computer and the files, the hard drive space of your home computer, instead of having to pay for a yearly subscription. Okay, now this is not going to be used for, like, say, a company. Okay, this is for development purposes only. So I know you guys are students and you're wanting to develop and play around and put files on, have a lot of money to spend every year on GoDaddy possibly. And so this is a real easy, free way to have your own web server. And so number 3, it says to set up for a free DNS service. I'll go ahead and show you what that screen looks like. And there's other ones out there, but this is freedns.afraid.org is the site name. And you just go there, and as soon as you get there, you're going to go ahead, and the navigation on this is definitely not the greatest, by the way. You'll notice here, I haven't even logged in, and it already has to log out here. But it works, okay? On the left side, and it's free. So on the left side, basically, it says, like it says on your handout, you go to domains on the left side here. As soon as you click on domains, you're going to set up for a free account. And I've already got an account, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you here what it looks like. And then I'll register for time's sake. This one I haven't used in a while, so there you go. Let me go ahead and go back here. Oh, here it is. I got to proceed on that one. It's been a while since I've been on this one. This is my test account. Let me log out and log back in here. When I went through this tutorial, I probably set up 5 accounts, so there we go. I just want to make sure okay, cool, that's the right one. Okay, so I've logged into my account. It says set up free account. You'll do that. You'll log in and click on the subdomains like I have on the overhead. When you click on subdomains, this is where basically you will, it says here, click on subdomains and select a free subdomain. I've already selected mine, which is chucon.us.t0, and then it's the second one is web290.us.20 or 20. That's the IP address, by the way, of my MAC address at home, of my Mac computer at home. That's my Comcast IP address, and I'm pointing to that server through DMZ. If you look on the overhead also, that's the actual web page pointed to that web290.us.20, pointed to that server that I just showed you on the subdomain. And so once you've set up that subdomain, and you're going to, initially, when you're on that Mac, it'll recognize the IP address of that Mac that you're on, and it'll populate this destination for you. Okay, it'll automatically populate it because it sees the IP address. It sees the IP address where you're at, and it'll populate it for you. So you'll notice on number 4 it says, or the bullet there on number 3, it says, in order to auto-populate your IP address, follow the steps in this document. Where it says this document, if you look at your handout, it's, I think, starting with the 3rd page. Yeah, starting with the 3rd page. And there is a misspelling in this one, yeah, where it says set up dynamic DNS on Mac. Everybody see that? That first sentence where it says you will need to edit the above, it should say below instead of above. You should be edit the below example and insert the update key after the update.php question mark. And so what it's talking about is, if you notice on number 3, see after update.php question mark in bold, that key, you'll actually get a key when you set this up. So if you click on the dynamic DNS on the left side of the screen, scroll down to the bottom, like it says on number 3, click on direct URL. I'm going to do it on the web290.us.20. And notice it says here that updated to that IP address in 0.166 seconds. But I don't care about that. What I care about is this right here. After the question mark, there is a code. See that? That's what it's referring to on number 3. That's the one you want to copy. That code you'll copy and paste it in a notepad or something to keep it. And that number 4 says a key part of the example above the URL is that right there. That's mine, which I believe is different, which it is, because I just updated it. Then you'll go and copy and paste this into what's called a plist file on a Mac. You'll have to create a plist file from Text Wrangler. I suggest using Text Wrangler on a Mac and replace your key with that key. Now you'll notice I don't have that in here, but I'm going to go ahead and show it on the overhead. In fact, I think I was right where it says on that first one, the above example. The above example was right. I didn't include it in your guys' handout. I apologize. This is the example you're getting ready to see in a second that has in there all the file content for the dynamic DNS updater.plist on number 6. So let me pull that up real quick. Sorry about that. So let me browse out and pull up that file. And that one did not print out. I apologize. I will make sure that you've got that. Okay. And I need to look in the launch daemon. All right, see that file there? That's the one that's not on your handout. And I will make sure, in fact, when you, this file, this PDF file will actually be on our website, and when you guys click on that word on the first page that says this document, that's this document that'll have in there the code that you don't see on your handout. So let me make sure that's the case here real quick. Let me click on this document just to make sure that's right. I don't want to tell you something that's not right. And this PDF file, by the way, like I said, will be on our website, and it's all clickable, so sweet, it's there. Okay, this is the page you didn't get, all right? So that code right there, that's the contents of the plist file. And you're changing down here at the bottom, after the question mark, your code right here, all right? And so I'm using Text Wrangler. I modified my code, my key with the key that's on the website. And remember, that's found in the top of the URL here. So I copy that, I update my Text Wrangler plist, I save that, and I believe I have that on your handout that you do have. You save it on number 5 to that location, the library launch daemons, to that folder. So let me just show you how to get that. You just go to File, Save As. Make sure you go to your Mac hard drive, Library. You'll scroll down to the launch daemons, and you'll save it right in there. Once you save it, mine's already in there. Once you save it, then you're going to have to launch a terminal app. And let me show you how to get to the terminal app real quick. You'll go to the Go menu on your Mac, go to Utilities, Terminal, start it, and I've already got one running here. Now there's 4 commands you've got to run on number 7, 4 commands, and you run them in that order. The first command will set that file to the root user as having rights to that and owning it. The second one cmods it and gives it a 644 rights, which is all read and write access. The fourth one launches it as a service, which what this one does on the 4th launch, it actually every 5 or 6 seconds, in fact, let me look at the file here real quick. Every 3,600 milliseconds, it goes out and pings. It pings, in my case, it would be Comcast, what my IP address is, and it updates the Afraid DNS with my IP address, my correct IP address. So it's constantly in the background doing it. Once number 4 is ran, and so let me go back to that number 4 real quick. Boom, boom. So once this third one's ran on number 7, that one actually launches a service. And you guys are familiar with like Windows services or any type of service that runs in the background all the time. So that's what this one's doing. It's running in the background every 3,600 milliseconds and loading it. And then this next one starts it. So this one loads it, and this one starts it. And I go ahead and run mine again. It's not going to, well, I've got mine stopped here. Let me go ahead and show you that. On number 8, if you wanted to ever stop it, you would run this command here, which would stop it, and then this would unload it. Okay? So I believe I ran mine earlier before our session here, so I'll see if it's running here real quick. And you will have to put your Mac password in the first time you run it. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and start again with these 4 in a row. So as long as you save it in the right location and it's the right spelling, you can actually just copy and paste like I'm doing in the terminal. And I did not copy that right. You have to put sudo in front of it, which basically gives you access rights to run that command. I think I've already done it earlier, so it won't let me do it again. But let me try it one more time. It only lets you do it once. That's probably why it's denying it. There you go. And then the second one is this one basically takes and gives that user rights now to that file. You have to do it in this order too, by the way. And I'm copying and pasting. It's not working for me, so let me do it down here real quick. Oh, let's put it on another line, that's why. So let me copy the rest of those real quick so I'll have them all. So you might have to copy that into a separate PDF. Sometimes does that, by the way, on copy and pasting. Copy and paste weird. So there, yeah, it puts a new line, it looks like, on all of these. Okay, so I've got that one left to run. There we go. And the third one, this one's going to load it. It's already loaded, as I did earlier. Now this one's going to start it. And now it's started. And so in the background, it's actually started that launch daemon. It's a service now. It's perpetually going to update that dynamic DNS. And so now when I go out to that, it's going to update it correctly. And so now all I have to do is, to test it, what you'll do is you'll actually type in the domain name that you just were given through the free DNS site. And that would be, in my case, is web290.us.20. I've got a redirect on mine. And there we go. And so successfully browsing that server, that terminal. And that's how you create a free web server using your Mac. Now, one of the things you'll notice on the first page, it says once you successfully set up your client and browse out, you can use XAMPP. I suggest that. It's an easy one to use for web browsing or using a website, creating a website. Step 5 and 6 are actually optional in XAMPP to secure your PHPMyAdmin. Let me talk about that for just a second. So if I wanted to actually access XAMPP from this location, I have to go to PHPMyAdmin. Might be forbidden because I think I took my rights out earlier. Yeah, I did. Anyway, I don't have mine set up now. I took it out. I don't want anybody accessing that. So I took mine out to where I can't do that anymore. But if you wanted it to where folks could not get access to your PHPMyAdmin or the config files, you go through steps 5 and 6 to do that, and that's optional. And then one of the other ones on step 6 is if you wanted to use a PHP editor to edit files on a browser level, to where you wouldn't have to use FTP. Anybody familiar with FTP and web browsing? Probably. That's where you basically upload files in an FTP client, like say CuteFTP is an example, FileZilla is an example. This Explorer basically lets you log in with username, credentials, username, password, credentials. I don't remember if I did root on this one or there's admin probably for testing purposes. Okay, you'll see in a second a little browser here. What's cool about this is I can actually go in now into my files in my server now, and I can actually, with this rights here, I can go in here and I can go to any folder on my computer. I can edit files, create files using Explorer. And so if I wanted to go in here and say click on this, log out this PHP file, and I wanted to come in here and edit this, it'll bring it up into a nice screen to where I can do my editing on the fly. But this could be, if you're not a PHP developer, it could be anything. It could be a text document or whatever. That way you can browse out to your files, and you can also, within this Explorer, it does let you upload and download files. And so if I'm in this folder here, we'll say student folder, go back to that one. Loading. Okay, so I'm in the student folder. I can actually come up here now. On the right side here, I can either right-click, I believe, in the folder and upload this way, or if it lets you, you should have access over here to upload a file. If you don't have access, it'll tell you, but then you can give yourself access. So if I want to upload this picture here, it's on my Mac desktop. I think I stripped rights of everything, so people couldn't do that. So, but anyway, let's see if there's a 128 meg. No, that should be okay. Let's go to another folder here. Let's go into that one, because some of these folders I don't have rights to upload to on purpose.
Steps 5 and 6 is where you, or step 5 is where you can set the rights?
Actually, in the program itself is where you would set the rights for this unique program. But I think I stripped all my rights here for myself, so I wouldn't accidentally, anybody, because I have students hitting this all the time. There you go. That one let me upload it. There's my truck.jpg. I did give access, it looks like, to Web 290 folder for everybody. And there's the folder file I just uploaded, the truck.jpg, truck1.jpg. And so that's a file I just uploaded to it. Now, that's just a real quick way to get into your server to send and get files from it easily. And that's a free program, by the way. Explorer is a free program to use. It doesn't cost anything. And so let's go back to that. So this program here on step 6 is a free program to use, and when you go to that link, it does have a very good, easy way to show you how to download it, install it. It has instructions how to do it, and goes through and it gives you some of the features, which are copy and moving files, dragging and dropping. They have a new version I do not have on my Mac. And if you do any HTML editing or web editing, it does have highlighting, syntax highlighting built in for all web languages. And then it does have a feature I've not used called, it does have an accessing through FTP, which you can set that up on your Mac as well, turn on FTP to use FTP directly, which would probably be a little quicker. I just never have used it. And so that is, in a nutshell, in under 30 minutes actually, how to set up a web server from home using a Mac. If you follow these steps, in fact, I will put this PDF on our website on Rockford Cocoaheads. I'll put it right in the podcast area. It'll have this page will load first, and then when you guys click on The first page will load first, this one here. And then when you guys click on this document, the third page, or actually the third page you didn't have, should load, which is going to be this one right here, which I'll click on. And that'll bring you to how to set up the auto update portion of your IP address on your Mac. And so if you just follow the steps to the T from start to finish, you should be okay. I will also post on there, I've got a podcast already, I'll just put a link in here on how to set up your DMZ router to point to the Mac. Most of you, I'm guessing, have like Linksys, I'm guessing. Linksys, Cisco, all the same anymore type of routers. And all your routers will have a DMZ port, which basically just tells you, it tells the router, which we'll say your IP address for your Mac at home is a 192.168.1.3. It points, that DMZ port points to that IP address on your local environment. You can also just put in the name. So if it's my Mac as a name, that's what you'd put in for the DMZ port to point to. But then that Comcast address, we'll say it's 66.213.01.1. That's what the, if you were to ping your IP address at home and say what, you can go to like what'smyipaddress.com. We'll show you what your IP address is. Let me just show that. So if I type in what'smyip.com, or you just Google that, it should come up to the first one, I believe. When you do the what's my IP address, this is what you're seeing externally. That's not it. Might just be what's my IP, not address. There it is. What's my IP address? myip.org. So that's my IP address right there. 64107.201.150 here on campus. When you do this at home, that's going to be your IP address at home. So if you were to type that IP address in, once this is all set up correctly, you would go to the Mac. Through the DMZ port, that would be the IP address that Comcast gave you, would come through the DMZ port to the Mac. And then you'll be able to see that web server that you're running. Yes?
But I only got to step one when I tried it. But it was good because I took PHP with Console last semester. So he told us to download it and then do it. So every time I had to run a PHP file, you can't do it on your computer without a server.
Right.
I'd have to key it. I'd run it and get an error and I'd key it.
Right, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah.
But once I ran XM, if you download it, it'll tell you, if you say, where do I store my files? If you search, it'll tell you where to put your PHP file in. You don't have to download it. You can press it right on your computer with an XM. And if you're worried that when you download an XM, it comes up with an icon, and then you can turn on the server or you can turn it off. The little box.
Right.
So that was really informational.
Yep.
Now I can run PHP files on the computer.
Yeah. And Jack did go through these steps, had some issues with his router, I believe, on it. And so if you have any issues on setting this up, I'd be more glad to help you. Just tell me what issues you're having. But I'll have this document out there for you. Also have a podcast on how to do it. And then it takes probably a good hour, 2 hours to get it all set up, I'm guessing. And then once that's done, you're done. And so it's working. Okay? It's not like it's not a 5-minute job. Take a couple hours to set it up, but once you get it set up, you'll like it because you'll have your own web server. And granted, it's not for thousands of people to hit, but for yourself and your friends or whatever, say you're developing something, to show them a website, that's great to do. And then when you're ready to go production, you can then buy GoDaddy website to put it on that server. But you don't have to be a web developer to use what I just showed you. You could actually just want to share your your Mac computer and use it as a server to be able to be accessible from anywhere. So if you just did what I did and loaded that Explorer app on step 6 and just use it as a file server and that's it, you do that. You don't have to have a web page on there at all. Just throw on there the the Explorer with XAMPP and then you're good to go. Okay? Any questions? Yes?
Can you pull up what your home page looks like?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. Sit down here. right there.
Like with that, you you used your own web design stuff to obviously make like for all those links.
Yeah.
To different folders on your server.
Uh-huh.
Is that something that is rather self-explanatory to do when you get into, like, I guess I understand when you go to Explorer, you know, you can see the files there.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way XAMPP works is when you run XAMPP on a Mac or PC and you type in localhost in the URL of the web browser, it'll go to a web server, a XAMPP web server. And the way it works is, on the pages anyway, let me show you here on mine, you'll see here all these folders that I'm seeing here, that you're seeing here, are inside of a folder called htdocs, which is right here. This is an htdocs folder on my Mac. So only viewable then for me outside of my Mac is what's in htdocs webwise. So whatever I put in the htdocs folder on XAMPP install is viewable here, okay? So you'll notice I have a Web 290 folder. That Web 290 folder is right here. That's the Web 290 folder. And that's all the files, and you're actually seeing those files. The one you're seeing tonight on the overhead is the index file that it's running. And that's all running here through the Web 290 folder. So you got, I can load it this way too, XAMPP, htdocs can run in here as well. But basically everything you're seeing here is in htdocs. And as long as you save your files in htdocs, and XAMPP does go through and show you that when you install it, it'll say, hey, by the way, if you want to have a little website on this, just put it in the htdocs folder. And you can have a simple website or a complex website, okay?
Okay, because I was just wondering, like, you know, like where you have your folder, you know, that says what, homework at the top?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's pointed.
So that's just pointing to one of those folders that's on your Explorer?
Yep.
It's in the htdocs?
Yeah, it's in htdocs. So see where it says it's inside my Web 290 folder. Web 290 folder has a folder called projects. That's all the files you're seeing inside of the projects folder. And I can help you with it. You know, you can all set it up. Again, I've had a number of students do this, and so I know you can do it. You might need a little hand holding in it, but that's okay. If you need that, let me know. I can definitely help you with it. We're hitting close to time, so I will have the podcast up there. I'll have the PDF up there. Danielle's got the sessions for next time, right? April?
Just so you know, before you leave, make sure you just
Sign, okay. And thanks for coming, guys. Hopefully it's helped you a little bit. I know it's a lot of information and 30 minutes to put. That's why I have the extra podcast. But definitely avail yourself to the podcast on the website and watch the video, because I walk it through on the video step by step, slower than I did here, to where you hopefully can get it, because I know I had to fly through all this tonight, so a lot of information. But, all right. Well, good meeting. Good meeting. cocoaheads website, yeah, I'll have it on the cocoaheads website, and all the content for everything we do in here will be on the cocoaheads website, and it'll actually be in the, there's a link for podcasts, I believe. Is that right, Daniel? Yeah, for podcasts. Rockford Cocoaheads podcast, and it'll have everything up there. All right? We'll get one slice of pizza left. Finish it before you leave. All right? Good job, everybody. See you in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks. Second Tuesday's coming up pretty quick. So.
Professor, are we throwing out the plates just to make sure?
Do what now?
Are we throwing this out?
No, don't throw the plates. I'll get in trouble by Sylvia. No. You can throw the pizza in the trash and bring a plate back so I can get them washed. That'd be great. Thank you. And make sure and sign this paper if you've not signed it yet. As Daniel said, go ahead and sign this so we'll have everybody's name on it.